Welcome back. You're watching World Talks, and I'm your host, Klaudia Czerwińska. The world's richest man and owner of the X social media platform has faced criticism across Europe amid accusations he is interfering with domestic democratic processes. Very direct and sometimes offensive comments launched against politicians in Germany and the UK did not go down well with various governments within the EU, leading to a concerned discussion about the possible influence of Musk's comments on the upcoming elections on the old continent. Does Musk have enough power to sway the crowds of voters in multiple EU countries? Taking a deeper dive, trying to answer this question and more is Rasťo Kužel, director of Memo 98. A very good morning and thank you for joining.
Good morning and thank you for the invitation.
As I mentioned the elections, as I mentioned Mr. Musk trying to influence them, I simply have to ask you about the election in Slovakia. So do you think there will be early election in Slovakia, and how might such process be influenced by people like Elon Musk?
Yeah, I mean, it really looks like the incumbent ruling coalition has been facing some serious political problems. It looks like the coalition is very thin. So one cannot rule out a possibility of snap elections, but at this stage, I don't think that that this could happen like in the next 6 months or so. So, but we will see. As to the second part of your question, certainly it is the combination of Mr. Musk being the richest person in the world, his new position in the incoming U.S. administration, and obviously, last but not least, this ownership of X, which gives him this significant influence over political discourse and public opinion. In Slovakia, X, formerly known as Twitter, is not or does not belong to the most popular social media platforms. But I think we need to see also what is happening in what is actually the most popular social media platform in Slovakia, which is owned by Meta. So Facebook and Instagram, and the most recent decision by Meta to basically dismantle the fact-checking program, which I think is really of concern.
Yes, definitely. We heard Mark Zuckerberg make that statement about them trying to have more freedom of speech at Meta and opening that up. Definitely an interesting floodgate. Why is Elon Musk hell-bent on trying to influence domestic politics and elections in Europe? Is Elon Musk perhaps a new type of danger for European elections?
You know, I really believe that that he is. I mean, that's a good question. Like, what is it there for him? Why he is trying to influence, for example, elections in Germany. We saw that he recently intervened. He sort of openly supports the right-wing party, AfD. And I think it could be a combination of two things. Certainly for him as a businessman, whatever restrictions on the market are not necessarily good for his business. We know that he has a company, Tesla company in Germany.
So
that could be one of the reasons. The second reason, which I think is probably of more concern, at least for me, is what appears to be Musk's global agenda to promote right-wing politics and actually to levy significant financial support to populist leaders. I mean, we saw it in the support of Donald Trump in the recent U.S. elections. We have heard potential allegations that he may be interested to support financially leaders in UK, in Germany. So I think this could be potentially the motivations.
I would like to take a moment to actually confront what you just said with one of our experts, Maria Skóra, whom I spoke to about the situation in Germany and Elon Musk yesterday, because she pointed out that there is going to be a conflict for Musk because he seems to be supporting the AfD, the right party in Germany, but at the same time, the AfD has been previously against his Tesla plant in Germany. And what's your opinion on this? So where do we stand here? What is the sort of movement that he's trying to make in Germany? What do you think?
I mean, certainly, what I understand from AfD is their sort of attempt to deregulate, to sort of make sure that there is no real regulation over businesses. So that's what basically leads me to think that this could be part of the motivation. But again, probably the more stronger sort of interest is really what I mentioned in my second part of my previous question, which is the sort of global support for these right-wing populist leaders, and there I think is probably where this motivation is more stronger. So if AfD is against his Tesla company, I mean that remains to be seen. How, because this we will see this sort of potential conflict of interests not only in Germany but certainly, for example, in China, where, as we know, he owns and quite a lot and quite a significant contribution to his overall business actually come from China, which is in direct conflict with Donald Trump's sort of declared war with China when it comes to trade and business. So we will have to wait and see how some of these different conflicts will resolve in the upcoming period.
There is no easy way going about this. We can see that there's definitely a concern among European leaders, European governments, as to Musk's potential influence when it comes to social media and the results of upcoming elections. I mean, we're going to see Polish presidential elections this year as well, so there's definitely something to consider. How do you think the EU should go about the issue of Elon Musk? Is there any possibility of sanctions? And is there actually something to be afraid of?
Well, first of all, I don't think we should we should be definitely concerned about the impact of social media on elections. And I think what is really unprecedented is what we saw in the US elections, where I think for the first time, one of the biggest social media platforms, X, openly supported one of the candidates, Donald Trump. And this really is the type of support where you can actually play with the algorithms and push certain content. So I think this is really of concern. On the second or the second part of the coin is that we also should not overestimate the role of social media. We still have traditional media, so and the level of trust vis-a-vis social media is lower than that of traditional media. So that also has to be taken into consideration. When it comes to your question, I think the EU has actually mechanisms to deal with this situation. I mean, the EU passed legislation such as the Digital Services Act, and I think the EU should definitely use these mechanisms to make sure that there is no intervention or no interference into European elections in this way, as we see it, as we see the attempts of doing this by Mr. Musk.
Thank you so much. Rasťo Kužel, director at Memo 98, was my guest. Pleasure to have you in our program.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
And so this would be all for now here on World Talks, but please do stay tuned as we have our very own Jonas Czerwiński coming up with the latest news bulletin.